So this article in The Guardian caught my attention where it talks about the potential of 800 primary schools closing by the year 2029. So this is mainly being driven by the low birth rates in the country, but it's being magnified in London by increasing numbers of people moving out of the capital. They say by 2029, forecasts suggest only 4.24 million primary school pupils will be enrolled, a reduction of 162,000, which is the equivalent of 800 single-form primary schools closing. And in the current climate, is there any wonder why we've got a fall in birth rate? The cost of living. Raising a child in the UK now costs on average over 150 grand a year. Add to that the soaring house prices, childcare bills that can feel like a second mortgage, and job insecurity. No wonder people delay or decide against not having children. Then you've got the housing crisis. So many young couples can't afford a home big enough for a family. And if you can't afford a one-bed flat, having kids then will feel impossible. Plus work and lifestyle, it's changing. People are studying longer, working longer, and want to build careers before settling down to have a family. But fertility doesn't wait. So by the time some of these people feel ready to have children, it can become a lot harder to conceive. Then you've got policy changes, the two-child benefit cap, expensive childcare, limited parental leave. All of these make having a family a real struggle. People are having to work longer. So whereas previous generations you'd have help with childcare through maybe your parents, grandparents, that doesn't happen as much now. And then there's the anxiety about the future, climate change, politics, even just the sense that life feels more unstable. For some, that's going to put you off having kids. Now, to solve this, it's not going to come down to closing schools. It's about changing the conditions around family life. Childcare needs to be genuinely affordable and flexible. We need to build homes that families can actually live in and afford. Scrap policies like the two-child cap that literally discourages bigger families, and support fertility treatment for people. And most importantly, tackle the parent penalty where women's careers stall the moment they have children. And this is doable because other countries have acted upon this with affordable childcare. And it's not about forcing people to have children, it's about making it a realistic, supported choice. Now, going back to schools, having fewer pupils isn't automatically a disaster in my eyes. In fact, it could be a positive. Smaller class sizes, less pressure on oversubscribed schools, more individual support for children. But that only happens if we invest properly in education rather than just cutting provision. But looking at the current picture, you can't help but think that what will happen is they will just close the schools. And that isn't just about empty classrooms, it's a real warning sign, because if we want thriving communities and a future workforce, we need to make raising children feel possible. And at the minute, for so many, it just feels completely impossible. And I completely understand why so many more young people are choosing not to have children. I completely get it. But the question we've got to think is, what do we do? We've got to invest in families now, or do we wait until it's too late and wonder where all the children and schools have gone?